You know what, Cam?
What?
Let's get to know each other today. All right, welcome to episode 1 of the CV Radio podcast. I'm Vegas, joined with my co-hosts.
And I'm Cam. How's it going?
So today we have a list of 100 plus questions, and we're going to go through each and every question. Well, maybe not every question.
Yeah, some are a little iffy on this list. I don't know how I feel about them.
Yeah, we just went to a website and we pulled them from questions to ask your significant other. As shocking as it might sound, me and Cam are not dating. So let's get right into the questions. Would
We
you
aren't?
like to? No, we're not,
Oh,
Cam. We
okay.
talked about this already. Would you like to start off with question 1 or question 2?
Of course. I'll get right into this. If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Okay. I don't know necessarily a specific location, but anywhere in the woods, anywhere like where there's a lot of forest, preferably in a cabin somewhere, like Maine, maybe Canada, Iceland, if we're kind of branching out a little bit more. But yeah, anywhere in the forest, I would say. What about you,
Oh.
Kim?
See, I'm kind of the opposite. I think I'm more of a city guy.
City slicker.
Sure. There's something about that kind of hustle and bustle of everyday life. You know, Uber and like Starbucks. There's something to that I crave.
See, the issue I have with the city is the filth. You know how filthy like Boston is?
Yes.
It's bad. And I want to throw this out here. I have nothing against Chinatown, well, I do. But that place is horrible. Have you ever been to Chinatown in Boston?
No.
It's very, very, very not a nice place you want to go to.
I'll make sure to skip that part of town.
All right. And it's not because they're Asian.
Okay.
It's not a good place. I would not advise anybody going there. I mean, it's a nice place if you want to go there to kind of get the culture or to get, hear from other people. But if you're going there hoping to have a nice, clean, healthy day trip or however long you intend on staying there for, don't go to Chinatown.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So number 3, we're starting off, or not starting off, but a pretty deep question. So a lot of these questions are kind of a mix of deep questions and just, not so deep questions. But the third question is, what is your biggest fear?
You want to go first, Vegas?
This is kind of a dumb answer, but I would say the dark. I don't like the dark.
Oh, okay.
There's something about the dark that's just creepy. You don't know what's there. It just, anything could be there, which is kind of what is scary about it. How about you, Kim? Do you have a fear? Or
Yeah,
you
it's a pretty deep fear, I'd say. Obviously, the dark is terrifying. I'm not gonna make fun of you for that.
Can I make a prediction? Is it clowns?
No, it's actually like a real thing. I
Okay.
would say.
All right.
I think I'm very afraid of being forgotten. I know that sounds weird, and it's hard to explain, but I have creative frustrations sometimes. I feel like I have the need to create certain things.
Mm-hmm.
For example, this podcast.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I tied you up and put you in my car and made you talk.
Yes, please send help. Not actually.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly consenting to this. Maybe not.
You get your $20 after the show. But and I feel like I have this need to create and show others not my ideas, but these things that I have, these things that I can create. And I feel like if I don't, and people don't remember me for that, and I'm not remembered for, I feel like I've wasted my shot.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I think that's a really good answer. And whether you're religious or not, and you believe, or if you believe in the afterlife, I feel like our impact that we leave on this world is very kind of crucial and important. And I would agree with you. Like, I'm amongst the same mindset. Like, I want to make this world as enjoyable and funny for future people to come. I don't want it to be crappy, or I know I don't maybe have impact or, control over political or, stuff like that. But if I can just leave if I can change one person's life on this planet, then I feel like I did something right.
Exactly.
So I think that's a good answer. I don't think that's narcissistic or kind of conceited. I think that's a good answer once you explain it. I feel like if you look at it from a surface level, it does seem a bit self-centered, but that was a good answer. All right, question 3. What is your favorite family vacation? Cam, do you have any standout vacations that you've been on?
I remember I went to Portugal when I was like 2. I don't really remember much from it. I just remember playing Spyro the Dragon and eating SpongeBob mac and cheese. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. You know what? I think my favorite family vacation has to be when I went with my grandparents, my brother, my aunt, and we went to Pennsylvania, and we went to Hershey Park. I think I might have been 6 or 7, and I barely remember any of it, but it was a lot of fun. What I do remember, and then of course we have the local kind of amusement park, Canopy Lake Park. That's a very enjoyable place to go. You can go, I think, nearly all year round. Obviously, it's not open during the winter, but it's opened all the way until I think like November. Because I remember going in October and they had like a spook fest or whatever, and it was actually really well done. They had a lot of people who were kind of dressed up in scary costumes, and they did a really good job at that. So yeah.
See, I tend to play the role of the moody teen on our vacations and kind of complain the whole time. Because usually I'm like, I could just be home right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like recently, I went to Miami for a week and I just complained the whole time. I was like, this place sucks. No one here even speaks the language I speak. I'm just going to literally do nothing.
See,
in protest.
I feel like with vacations, like there are such things as bad vacations, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure everybody would acknowledge that. But I feel like you could take a bad vacation and make it a good vacation. I feel like that is possible. I don't know how. Obviously, it would depend on your situation, like where you are, finances, whatever, like how much money you have and you're willing to spend. Because you could just go somewhere and just blow all your money, just buy a bunch of stupid stuff, just have fun. But I feel like you could take a bad vacation and make it a good one. Maybe not all the time, but most of the time. So yeah. Would you like to read the next question?
What would you change about yourself if you could?
Are we gonna go with physical? Are we gonna go with kind of?
I was gonna ask you the same thing because mine is more of mental.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm gonna go with mental too. I feel like I overthink everything. I feel like I'm always analyzing everything way too much than it has to be. Mm-hmm. Someone could say something in a weird way. Someone could look at me in a way I find to be obscure, and I will take it personally. And I feel like really these past couple of years I've been learning to kind of overcome that. I mean, obviously I still struggle with it, but it's something I've been getting better at, just letting go of things and just not caring and just doing what I think or what I feel is best for me and everybody else around me who does care about me.
Interesting, because that was actually very similar to my answer. You stole that from me.
You know what, Cam?
No, you didn't.
Sorry.
I'll give you mine, though.
Okay.
I'd say I put too much stock into what other people think. Sometimes I feel like I try too hard to impress other people. And I can see that, and I can see myself doing it, and I don't like it, but I still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously I try and make people laugh a lot, right? That's, like, something with me. And if, like, someone hits me with a "you're not funny, Cam," like certain individuals recently in my life, it kind of kills me, because I feel like that's what I pride myself on. That's what I like doing, is like entertaining other people.
Yeah, and that's always the worst, is like when you're doing something that is your passion, that you're very passionate about, or something that you're very into, and someone kind of comes along and pushes you down, and they're like, "Why are you doing that? That's stupid," or like, "This is dumb," or "This is bad." Especially when it comes to like the arts or like creating stuff, whether it's a podcast such as this or a YouTube video. Like when it comes to stuff like that, and someone comes along and kind of tells you like, what you're doing right now is not good, like that really does get to you if that is something that you are passionate about. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be an art, just something that you take a lot of pride in, and someone says this is dumb, basically, is kind of the most simple way to put it. So yeah.
Sometimes I feel like it's just, I feel like it gets to me too much, and that's a problem, I think. I feel like constructive criticism is good. Like, if you can take something from what someone says and then obviously work on it to make it better. But, like, sometimes it's like, it kind of gets to me too much, and I'd like to work on that, I think.
Okay. All right, the next question. What motivates you to work hard?
Money, I guess. I don't really have a deep answer for that. We live in a capitalist society. Things I want to buy.
It's a very dark, true answer. I would say mine would have to be work. Like, if I do it now, it'll make my future more enjoyable. If I put in the work now, then I don't have to worry about it later. It's about overcoming that procrastination, and I'll be honest, I procrastinate all the time. So it's about overcoming it. It's like, if I do it right now and get it done with, I don't have to worry about it later. Whether it's cleaning my room or just, like, it could be a small task like that or a big task, whether it's like schoolwork or a job task. Like, just doing it and getting it done with and not having to worry about it, like, after that.
A very healthy mindset, I feel like.
So, let's go to the next question. Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, you said money.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next question.
So were we thinking number 9?
Yes.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
Okay. So, I have a good story, actually.
Ooh, I'm excited.
It involves another person.
Oh.
Well, I kind of have...
You know other people, Vegas? I'm not your only friend?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know that's probably shocking for you to hear, but I kind of have two. One is kind of a serious one, or a serious one, and then the other one is more of a joking one. But maybe I'll save the serious one for a later time, or
Okay.
later on if it comes across. But I was a freshman in high school, and I was in a video class the second semester. And it was like the end of the school year. We maybe had a month left, and there was this kid there who had been homeschooled most of his life, and for kind of his final 2 months, he was like, you know what, I'm gonna come to high school. And at this point, this kid has already completed like almost his first semester of college, and he came into our class, and immediately we just became really good friends. And I was like, this kid's really cool. And we made a lot of videos together and stuff like that. And he would always like update me every day. He's like, dude, I have a girlfriend now. I'm like, dude, I'm going to prom. Like,
good for this guy. Dude.
Like this kid who's like, I mean, he's socialized. Like I asked him, I was like, how do you socialize like when you're homeschooled? And he was telling me how they have like it's a program. Like you go on field trips with other homeschooled kids. So it's pretty interesting. But he would come in every day. He's like, oh, like I only have one real class and I have an A in that class. Like all my other classes are just kick back, do whatever. And I remember it was a senior run. And at our high school, we have a thing every year. I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but within the last 20 minutes of the day, like within the last week of school, all the seniors will meet up in one area and they'll run around the school. They'll bang on the lockers and just go crazy. And I remember the senior run was starting when I was a freshman, and I was outside of the door. I was seeing all the seniors run by, and just when I thought everybody was gone, I see that kid running down the hallway, and it just like I was like, that's my friend right there. Like he looked at me and he smiled, and that was the last time I ever saw him. And I was like, I only knew this kid for a month or so, but like I saw him just making the most of like what he had. I mean, that sounds a little stupid, but like he was just having fun. I was like, yeah, like that kid is, he's just running. I guess that's the most simple way to put it. Like, I don't know, it just like it really touched me. I was like, that's awesome. Like, I want to be like that one day.
That's a really heartfelt story.
Yeah.
Mine is not as much.
I don't know what his name is, but if you remember me from Mr. Molding's Video 1 class, I was a kid with black hair.
Vegas, no one's going to watch this.
Hey, I don't know, maybe he'll somehow find it.
Oh, okay.
He's probably like graduated college by now. Definitely has. All right, go ahead. What's your...
So, as you know, as many of those close to me know and who follow me on Snapchat know, I once created a weekly comedy series, mainly on Wednesdays, that I'm quite proud of. Now, it's over,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
It's done. And now, this is gonna. I know it sounds like I'm just like holding myself up in such high regard. Oh, look at me! I made this weekly series. But I'm pretty proud of myself because it was something it was a positive experience that I would do every week, and that I had like the mindset of giving back to the people, right?
Yeah.
Because usually, this show was born out of the idea that I had free time. I had free time in my day where I could go and create something, or I could just go home and do nothing, right? And there was a lot of times where I did go home and do nothing, and I said, this is a waste of my time. I could be doing something with this, which is something I do a lot. I'm a good waster of time. I procrastinate quite frequently. So I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this thing, and I'm going to see what happens, and if people like it, I'm going to keep doing it. And they did, and I kept making it, and I'm very proud of it. It was Obnoxious Wednesdays with intern Cam. It's had many branch off points into other one-off things. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm honestly, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I thought it was pretty funny. You were there, you saw it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really well put together kind of
Thank you.
little, just fun thing. It's like, hey, we're just having fun. What is your favorite book to read?
That's a loaded question.
If you don't have one, then that's fine, because I feel like I have a good answer.
I don't really read a lot, but I do. I just kind of stare at the wall.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I do remember that. I believe in 6th grade I got this book. I think it was called 3 Cups of Tea, right?
I hope it's not a really depressing book, because I'm gonna feel really bad for laughing.
I'll get there. So it was about this dude who like goes on some like crazy trip and like meets these like cool villagers and stuff.
I still have my seatbelt on. I'm gonna take that off.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't know why I still have it on.
Me neither. And I remember really liking this book and bonding with my English teacher at the time.
Who's your teacher?
Miss Shea.
Oh, wait, we're in the same block.
Yeah, we were.
I didn't know that.
I'm glad you remember.
We had the same 6th grade teachers and didn't even know.
And we bonded over the love of this book because she read it too. And I guess something changed in our relationship where she didn't like me as much as a student anymore. And during this time, I found out that the guy who wrote the book lied about the entire story. It was completely made up, complete fabrication, nothing true. And I told her this. Almost as like to get back at her for not liking me. And that was it. There's no more friendship there. We didn't have anything to talk about.
See, wait, is that your story, or can I
I mean,
mine?
You can go for yours.
So mine are more serious, but I'll start with this one because I feel like it kind of goes along with what you were saying. But Night by Eli Wiesel, or Wiesel, if you want to say it properly, talks about his experience in Auschwitz or during World War II and concentration camps, and it's just a very powerful book. It really
Yep.
talks about the just horribleness and just mistreatment of people during World War II. And but supposedly he never even was in concentration camps. Supposedly. I don't know the truth behind this kind of statement, but I remember reading it somewhere fairly recently. And I read the book recently too. I think I read it in November. And it's a really powerful book. And the second book that I recommend to everybody, especially you the listener and Cam yourself too, is a book called The Power of Now. And it basically follows the philosophy about just living in the current moment. Like, don't worry about the past. Don't worry about tomorrow. Like, worry about right now. Like, right now, we're recording the podcast. That's all that matters. Nothing else does. And it's really good because, like, especially for me who's overthinking things and worrying about the future or the past, like, it really helps to kind of learn to just live now and not have to worry about, the issues of tomorrow. And I remember I read a good, it was actually a tweet, and it's really stupid the way it's kind of formatted, but it goes something like, tomorrow or yesterday already happened, today is now, and tomorrow hasn't even happened yet. And it's like, tomorrow is or yesterday was history. Like, you can't change what happened. Today, like, what you do today will shape your future, and the future hasn't even come yet. So yeah, that's probably my 2 favorite books right there. So
I'll make sure to pick them up at my local library.
let's go to.
Do they still have those?
Yes, they do.
Oh,
I believe so.
all right.
Or you can get it for your Kindle or your iPad.
It's an Amazon Fire, Vegas.
Do they still make Kindles? Like, I feel like those were really popular when they first came out, but then I feel like they kind of just plateaued and disappeared off the face of the earth.
I think reading is going away.
I don't.
Because books, right? Barnes & Noble is probably going to close down in the next hour or two.
See, I don't think. I feel like it's a big thing people are very convinced of, but I don't think they're going anywhere.
What's that book where they burn all the books?
Fahrenheit 451?
Yeah. Let's do that.
No, what? You understand that was done by, like, Nazis, right? Like, that's what Nazis did during World War II. Speaking of World War II.
That's all we have for today.
No, but I feel like when it comes to information, that we'll always have digital, and even if digital takes up most of how we intake information, whether it's them or like iPads replacing textbooks or whatever, like we're still gonna have those physical books. There will still always be a demand for physical books. If you go back all the way to like the 1600s, like 600, 700 years ago, I'm really bad at math. However long ago that was, 600 years ago. No. Anyways.
Whatever.
But if you go back to the 1600s or even further back, they still use books. Like, having that written information is much more crucial than having it digitalized. So I feel like books will never go away. Libraries might be very far and few, but you'll always have places like Amazon where you can buy a book. But I think that's what you're getting at, is kind of like...
Yeah, I don't want books to... I don't know.
E-commerce replacing... Because we have, like, Toys R Us going out of business. I predict within the next 5 years we're going to see the disappearance of a lot of department stores, like JCPenney, Kohl's. Even though that would be very tragic, I feel like it's doomed to happen, and it's already happening right now.
I like Kohl's.
You know what? We're getting a little sidetracked, but it's perfectly okay. I feel like with stores like those, like, that's where you get, like, bargains right there. Kohl's, get that Kohl's cash going. But, like, I feel like there's a weird stigma behind, like, ooh. Like, I get most of my clothes at Target. Target has some nice clothes. Like, they have some really nice stuff there.
I'll make sure to check it out.
JCPenney has nice clothes there, too. Like, it doesn't matter where you get your clothes from. Because you could find a diamond in a rough. You can go to Walmart and probably find a nice pair of jeans if you really look. Maybe not. But... basically, to what I was saying before, I feel like we are going to see the disappearance of a lot of big department stores. But I don't think clothing stores are going to disappear due to, like, Amazon or other online websites. Because, especially with clothes, like, you can't just...
Have e-clothes.
Yeah, you can't just buy them online. Like, there's always going to be the issue of they're not going to fit you properly. So, yeah. That was completely unrelated, but let's go to the next question.
Want me to read it?
Who answered? Oh wait. I'll ask it.
All right.
What makes you laugh the most?
Who's going first? Should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. I think the thing that makes me laugh the most is other people's laughter.
Yes, I agree with
right?
you.
Like, a joke or something could be the unfunniest thing in the world to me, but someone else finding enjoyment from it makes me laugh. I don't know why. Other people's enjoyment of things make me enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I feel like, well, I have two answers. I will agree with you. Like, seeing other people laugh, like, when my girlfriend laughs, I'm just like, it just fills me up with joy. I'm like, I did something right. But also kind of those moments where something that you wouldn't even find funny outside of the situation that just cracks you up so much. Like, it's just no reason at all. Like, maybe you're sleep deprived or whatever it is. Just something that makes you just lose it for no reason. And just those moments are just, like, one of the best. It's just, like, having those moments where you're just laughing and enjoying the moment. Alright, you want to ask the next question?
What was the last movie you went to, and
Okay.
what did you think? Well, I'm excited about this because Vegas, I feel like Vegas doesn't see movies that much.
I actually saw a movie recently.
I think I know what it is.
I want to go through the timeline of the movies that I've watched. So, about 6 years ago, I saw Anchorman 2.
And that was the first movie you've ever seen?
No, that was the last movie I saw. For another...
boy.
So, I saw Anchorman 2 in about... I think it was 2013, 2012? No, 2013. Or 14. 13. It was 13. And I didn't see any other movies until...
Was it that bad?
What, Anchorman 2?
Yeah.
No, it was a good
Oh,
movie.
okay.
But I didn't see another movie until 2016. Nope. 2017.
Oh.
When I saw the Emoji Movie. And just think about all the cinema that I've missed. I missed all the Avengers movies,
Yeah.
Star Wars The Force Awakens, any like major film that came out between 2013 and 2017, I did not see. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to watch the Emoji Movie. Out of any movie I could possibly watch, the Emoji Movie. And I remember when I went to go watch it, I saw it by myself, too. I thought I'm going to add that little detail. And I remember they had 3 movies that were airing. It was Spider-Man Homecoming,
Great movie.
Dunkirk,
Fantastic movie.
and the Emoji Movie.
Oh, my.
And this was a Friday night at 8 o'clock. One of the 3 movies were sold out for the 8 o'clock showing and the 10 o'clock showing. Do you want to guess which movie it was that was sold out of all 3 of those movies?
I'm going to say Emoji Movie.
It was the Emoji Movie.
At 10 o'clock.
And 8 o'clock on a Friday when most people are probably going to see movies at that time. Not Dunkirk, an amazing movie that is held up for its...
Cinematic masterpiece.
Yes,
some
or
would
Spider-Man
say.
Homecoming. You know, just everybody loves Marvel.
Great fun movie for everyone.
And then the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say anything else.
Who is that movie for? Kid?
Everybody. You
Brain
know what?
dead children?
I'm going to be honest with you. I went into that movie with such low expectations,
Yeah.
but I very much did not hate it. I thought it was I would give it a 5 out of 10. I would give it a 5 out of 10.
What would you give Anchorman 2 out of 10?
I don't remember much of that movie, but honestly, probably around that too.
Oh, man.
Maybe like a 5.2. I just don't like that kind of humor. And I was pretty much the only person in the theater. I saw it at midnight, and I got out of the movie at like 2 in the morning.
Why?
And then the movie I saw after that was The Last Jedi, which I saw twice. And then the movie I actually saw, I think last weekend, was A Bridge. Or I think it was A Drift. A Drift.
Okay.
Not A Bridge, A Drift. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but wow, that movie was fantastic. I almost cried during that movie. It was really good. There's a big plot twist that happens near the end of the movie. And there's a weird thing with the movie with kind of flash forwards, or it'll tell the story after everything happens, but it'll kind of go back and go from the events leading up to that moment. And I didn't like it at first, but I found myself very much enjoying the movie. And I would give that movie a solid 8.8 out of 10. It was a great movie, and I almost cried during it. Now, what was the last movie that you saw?
The last movie I went to go see was Deadpool 2. Now, I did not see it.
Could you elaborate?
I did not see Deadpool 2.
Do you, fall asleep?
No. I was quite excited. I know you're not the biggest Deadpool fan. I'm not sure why. I feel like you'd like it if you watched it. Funny movie. Funny, great first film. So I was like, I'm going to go see this movie. The second one. You know, Ryan Reynolds is back. It's a direct drive. Like, I'm going to watch this.
I don't know where this is going.
Okay, so I call up my friend Dylan, right? Dylan is 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I am 17 years old. This is an R-rated film. I'm under the assumption
I think I know where this is going.
that I can take him in because I'm 17, right? Also, he's seen he knows what Deadpool is. He knows what swears are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. I got to be 21 to bring him in.
What?
Yep, 21. 21 years of age. So if anything happens during the movie that he has questions about, I guess I could answer them if I was 21. But as a 17-year-old, I can't. So, yeah. The last movie I actually saw in a theater was Avengers. I don't really want to get too far into that. I cried a little. I think most people who've seen the movie know why. Jesus Christ. That ending. Okay. We moving on?
Yes, I'm gonna skip a couple questions. I'm gonna go to 27.
Ooh.
Do you like or dislike surprises? Why or why not?
See, I'm pretty in the middle on this. I like to know what's going on most of the time. I feel like if I'm out of the loop on something, I'm not fully comfortable. But then I feel like if it's worth it in the end, then it was worth it. Well, I don't really get surprised. People don't really surprise me too much.
See, I feel like it depends on what kind of surprise are we talking about. Are we talking about a movie like a plot twist? Or are we talking about
That
like
could work.
a birthday surprise or a
I was
Christmas
thinking that,
surprise,
too.
like a party surprise? Are we talking about like, oh, surprise, I'm pregnant? Not like from your significant other, but like maybe a family member or your mom. Like, oh yeah, or like we're adopting, like something like obscure like that. I feel like it really depends on the situation. Like, this is a cop out answer, but I feel like with me it really depends on what the situation is.
Yeah, I've never had a surprise party.
Neither have I. I don't think I would like
I
one.
don't think anyone in my life cares enough to give it that much thought.
Well, I feel like with surprise parties, there's, well, yeah, a lot of thought that goes into it because everything has to work in order for things to go successfully.
Would you rather vacation in Hawaii or Alaska? And why?
Okay, so I feel like the obvious answer would be Hawaii, but I feel like you could just go to the beach. Like, you can easily just go down to your... I mean, obviously, it's not going to be probably as nice or as warm, but I feel like Alaska would be an interesting place to go to. It's uncharted territory, for the most part. Like, it'd be fun to go there for a week or so and just experience the frigid climate and just, like, how crazy Alaska is.
See, what fascinates me about Alaska is that it's obviously not connected to America. It's touching Canada, right? Right? You gave me a look there. Alaska is up against Canada.
I was thinking of Antarctica. Well, I know Alaska and Antarctica are two different things, but because I was like, when you're like, oh yeah, Alaska, it's next to Canada, I was like, dude, it's at the bottom of the planet. Well, if you believe in the round Earth.
Okay.
But so yeah, it's next to Canada.
According to the round Earth theory, Alaska is next to Canada. So what fascinates me is I'm not connected to the homeland, right? So what if something happens between America and Canada? Say in the next 20 years when corporations take over America and it's going to be Dunkin' Donuts battling over Tim Hortons to see which will be the reigning coffee of North America.
Why not both?
Well, when corporations take over America and then they take over Canada,
you can't have both.
Yeah,
It's like an unwritten rule.
obviously. Where would I factor into that? What coffee would I be drinking? I've given this a lot of thought, and my answer is neither, because I don't drink coffee. That's not funny.
That was okay.
That was not funny at all, but I'm pretty proud of it.
How many pairs of shoes do you own?
I think 3. My feet grow constantly. It's a problem. There's no point in buying new shoes for me, because I'm just gonna grow out of them.
Now, let's see, how many do I own? Maybe eight or 10.
That's a healthy.
But
amount.
I only wear like 3 or 4. A lot of them I've had for many, many years. I have a pair of boat shoes that I've had for about 6 or 7 years. Nope, 5 years. Yes, 5 years. Still fit me. Nothing wrong with them. I mean, they're a little beat up, obviously, they're 5 years old. But I actually have a funny story. So when I was in 8th grade, I was very into sneakers, a lot. I don't know what sparked that inside of me, but I was like, sneakers are really cool. And Christmas was coming up, and there were these new sneakers, and they were called LeBron 11s. And they looked like, I mean, I still think they look a little cool, but they're ridiculous. They look like big moon shoes. They're like gray and blue and very like geometrical. And I was like, I'm dead set. I want those. And I looked them up, and
Oh my god, these are ridiculous.
yeah, those ones I think are right there. Maybe not these ones. Yeah, those ones. And
Wow.
I was like, I want these. I don't know where I saw them, but I was like, I want those sneakers. And I looked at the price tag, and do you want to guess how much they are? Just take a wild guess how much they were.
I don't know, $150. Why not?
Add another $100. They were $250
That's a
for
waste of money.
sneakers, and I begged my mom. I was like, Mom, these sneakers are like these are, I need these. Like, these are so cool. And that was pretty
And
much
then she slapped you because that's ridiculous.
spoiled me. Ended up getting those.
Oh my.
But that was the only gift I got for Christmas, was those sneakers. And I wore them for about a couple months or so.
Oh no.
And I stopped wearing them because they weren't exactly viable. They were very bulky and kind of just,
Yeah.
they were basketball shoes. You're supposed to wear them when you play basketball. And basketball is something I was very much into at the time, like playing it. So I did wear them when I would play basketball, and they were extremely comfortable. They were probably the most comfortable pairs of sneakers I've ever owned. But I ended up selling them. Do you want to guess how much I sold them for?
$200. How much? How much Vegas?
$60.
Oh no.
I sold them for $60 to buy a video game. So yeah, that was a little
What
funny
game
story.
was it?
It was called it was Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Oh my.
Okay. So we're going to go to question 53. Have you ever had a secret admirer?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
I picked this question because I have two, and both of them were very, very... I'm not going to use names. I want to keep them anonymous.
After the show.
Yes. But, so the first one was in 5th grade, and this girl was on my bus, and she would sit with me every day, and I wasn't going to be rude and tell her, get out of here. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to let her sit with me. And she somehow convinced the whole grade that I had asked her to the 5th grade dance, and convinced everybody that I was dating her. And she told everybody, and everybody was like, oh, you're dating blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? I was like, this is news to me. I'm not dating that person. And they had somehow convinced the whole... And this person was obsessed with me. And then I remember in 8th grade, which leads into the next secret admirer,
Oh.
she gave me a note, and it said, do you have a girlfriend? Because I like you a lot. And I was like, I'm going to lie and say I do, because I don't want to talk to her. And I know that sounds very rude, but
No.
I
I
didn't
get
want
where you're
anything to
coming
do with this person. So I lied, and I said I did have a girlfriend. I didn't, but I did anyways. And this same year in 8th grade, and this is, I think, in the beginning of 8th grade still, because that's when that happened. It was probably, September, November, or September, October. And about a month or so later, there's a new person who messaged me on Facebook, and they would talk to me all the time. And I would talk to them, for the first week or so. I didn't want to be mean. I didn't know who this person was. They went to my school, but I didn't know who they were. I never talked to them. And it started to get a little annoying. I didn't like talking to this person, and I just stopped messaging them slower and slower. And she would send these messages and be like, oh, sorry, that was my little brother.
Oh.
And I was like, I didn't say it, but I was like, what? Because she would say, like, how come you haven't messaged me in, like, an hour? And
Yikes.
she would follow it up another hour or two later, like, sending out, like, another feeler and be like, oh, sorry, that was my brother. Anyways, how are things going? And I would just be like, oh. And then she told everybody that I was dating her and that I cheated on her. Despite neither of those were true. I had neither dated her nor cheated on her. Obviously, I couldn't cheat on her if I wasn't dating her. But she somehow convinced a bunch of people of that. Despite the fact that I had never talked to her in person. The only conversations I had with her were on Facebook. But she somehow convinced not the entire school, but I would say a lot of people that I dated her. And a lot of people walked up to me and they were like, oh, are you dating this person? Same thing with 5th grade. These two situations are literally pretty much the same thing. And I was just like, what? Like, how did I end up in this situation in both circumstances? So yeah, that was a very, I guess, kind of.
I want to say
bad
good
situation.
For you, but
no,
not good for you.
No, I mean, obviously both of these happened very, very long ago, but they're still, when I think about them, which very rarely happens, but it makes me feel a little gross. I'm like, why did that have to happen to me? Okay, we're going to actually follow this up with a very similar question. 89. Who was your first crush?
You go first, because I really have to think about this.
Okay. This is first grade. You know this is a good story when it starts in first grade and it's about a crush.
Yeah.
But there's this girl, and she was in school for about a month. And then I only saw her that month, and then she disappeared, and she transferred schools. I found out much, much later. And we had, you know, those fire poles, and they have like that kind of thing at the top of it. Like it'll go horizontal and then it'll go down vertically. Like it'll have like the pole that goes like that and then it'll go down. I know nobody can see what I'm doing, but it's like an L kind of, like a small L. But she would hang from that top bar for like 5, 10, 15 minutes, just hanging from the bar. I'd be like, that girl's really cool. She's like hanging from the fire pole. Not like that sounds really...
It does.
That sounds...
But I get what you're saying.
Not like in a weird way like that. But she would, like from the top part, she wouldn't hug the pole, but she would grab the top part of it. And she would just hang from it with her eyes closed for like...
Is this person okay? Was she okay?
I don't know. But I was like... It wasn't even a crush, but it was just like... She's really cool. Like, she can hang from the fire pole. Oh my god. The more I go into the story, the worse it sounds. But yeah, that was my first, I guess, crush. Was that weird girl in 5th grade or 1st grade who hung from the fire pole. So, do you have a good story, or?
I don't really have a story. I think it was also 1st grade. It was just some like girl that was really mean to me, and I was like, okay.
Okay.
I guess that's how it works.
All right, we're going to go back up to 69. We're kind of jumping around here. We don't want to, we have literally 150 questions. We still want to get to the deep questions.
Deep.
Yeah. If anybody is still listening to this, we're about 40 minutes in. Good job. You get a pat on the back, pat yourself on the back. You've made it in 40 minutes of us rambling. So, Cam, ask question 69.
How old were you when you learned Santa was not real? And how did you find out?
Do you have you want to go first?
I mean, I can't really remember how old I was. I think I knew for a while, but I never really brought it up to my parents. I let them, like, live in the lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, I'm just going to avoid this conversation as long as I possibly can. But I think I kind of called it out when I found, like, presents, like, under my mom's bed, and I was like, you got to do a better job than this. It's like, I see what you're doing here. You keep doing you. I'm not going to push any further because then they might not end up under the tree. So, yeah, just know I know what's going on here. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'll stay silent.
So, well, for my early childhood, or like toddler to 8 years old, we didn't really do the whole Santa thing.
Interesting.
Well, mainly because, like, my family was more about kind of the religious part of Christmas. But, like, Santa was still a part of it. But I would say, I think I might have been 9 or 10. This is when King Kong came out. And I got a present from some family member. I don't remember who it was exactly. That was a King Kong figure. And I remember, for some reason, my mom's reaction is like, oh, wow, thanks. Kind of like, oh, snap, like I bought him that same thing. And I remember the next day, on Christmas Day, I opened it up and I got the same figure. But it was from Santa, but on the package it said, Target exclusive. I was like, how can this be a Target exclusive if it's from Santa? Like, Santa didn't make this. So basically for the next 3 or 4 years, I was in denial. And I had told myself, like, Santa's real. And when I was about 11 or 12, I was like, you know what? I was 12. I was in 6th grade. I was like, you know what? Santa's not real. Like, I don't think he's real. So yeah, that's... I was 9 when I started questioning the existence of Santa, but then when I was 12, I was like, you know what, I need to let go of this. Santa's not real. So we're going to skip down to a very similar question, 96. Cam, what is your family... Do you have a family holiday tradition?
It's not really a tradition's a weird word. I wouldn't say we have any really, like, long-standing traditions, but the last, like, few years we've been doing, like, gingerbread house competitions.
Dude, I've been trying to convince my family to do that. and they're like, nope, we're not doing it.
And a lot of the humor comes from myself and like cousins, like trying to make just like the worst house possible, just like absolutely garbage. We made like a trap house, like it was just terrible. And then like my aunt would always make, my godmother would, she would always make like, she would just copy the box, like the box art, and she'd always be like, oh, that means I win, like, right, like, and like defending herself. We're like, no, we made a trap house, trap gingerbread house. We're just winning here, right? It's us. I don't know. That's not really I don't know.
That's a tradition.
It's fun.
So my uncle and I, we do a Christmas bingo on Christmas Eve, and it kind of seeps into Christmas Day. My family, they're not insane or ridiculous, but we have a lot of things that are very funny, or not like on purpose, but. So one year we decided, like, I think it was about 2 years ago, we decided to make a bingo card of things that everybody in my family does that, like, there's this one, like, one of my aunts, she makes these little snacks called Bucky Balls. And it's just a peanut butter ball covered in chocolate. And she always gives them away for Christmas. So, like, first what we did was we came up with, like, 50 things that, like, little nuances or small things that we notice every Christmas or holiday season. And, so, you know, we would have one like, oh, Aunt blah, blah, blah brings Bucky Balls. And if she did, we would mark it. There's no prize or anything. It's kind of just bragging rights, I guess. Because we all had the same cards, but they're just formatted differently, obviously. And it was going well the first year we did it until my uncle accidentally dropped his card and my little cousin found it and stole it. And a bunch of other people found out about it and defeated the whole purpose because really the only one rule we had was...
This was a secret?
Not a secret, but it's just like, just me and him. It's like, This is our thing. And, like a bunch of other people found out, and our one rule was, you can't get other people to do what's on the bingo thing. Like, you can't pull it out of other people, like, you know, whether it's someone saying something or someone doing something. Like, you can't get other people to do it. But yeah, that's probably mine. It's still a small one. We didn't do it last year, but I think we've done it for 2 years, and it's really fun.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely, it's fun. I would say it's more fun actually putting it together, like actually finding the the little nuances, because you know they're always evolving, they're always changing. All right, I think it's time to go to the deep questions.
It's gonna get personal.
Do you want me to ask question one, or would you like to ask it?
Do we want to do question one? Is that a good question?
I think it's a good question.
All right, I say you go for it.
Given the choice of anyone in the world, either dead or alive, whom would you want to have as a dinner guest?
You got anything for this one?
I do. I'm gonna pick Jesus.
Wow.
Like, sitting down, just talking to him, being like...
Final Supper Part 2.
Just having, like, a conversation with Jesus. Be like, alright, you know? Just ask him, or whatever, you know? That's my answer. I don't have anything else to say, but Jesus. Or, you know what? Jesus is probably the first person I would pick. But this is a weird one, and I hate to use both these names in the same breath, but Hitler. Assuming that I can talk to him in English. Because I just want to figure out what was going through that man's head. Or, like, I don't know. It would just be interesting to sit with him. With Hitler. Probably the most infamous person in all of human history. And the most famous person in all of human history. Not at the same time. I wouldn't want both of them at the same time. Yeah, that'd be
awkward.
But, yeah. Jesus and then Hitler. Not... Jesus for good reasons. Hitler, just... I want to figure out what was going on in that sick man's head when he did what he did.
I feel like Jesus would be like, hey, drink this. And then you'd be drinking it and it'd be like, psych, that's my blood.
Do you have...
Nothing to that?
I don't know what to say to that. Okay. Do you have anybody who you'd pick?
I'd say Kanye West.
Kanye West.
He's such an interesting man to me. I have so many questions. I'd like to thank him, first of all, because he's a very inspirational figure in my life. I know that sounds bad, because he's like extremely narcissistic and not a great person. But I feel like he's also a very interesting creator and an artist.
Well, if you could only ask him 3 questions, what would you ask him?
First of all, what the hell do you mean by the whole slavery was a choice thing? I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me. What is your take on people saying that the old Kanye is gone?
Mm-hmm.
And the third one would be... I think I'd ask him, what happened with him and Jay-Z? Why aren't they making music together anymore?
Okay.
I miss Watch the Throne.
I'm sure a lot of people do. Alright, Cam, would you like to be famous? And in what way, if so?
Yeah, I'd like to be famous. Maybe not necessarily as like a personality. I don't know, actually. That actually sounds kind of nice. I want to be famous like for what I create. Right? I know it always goes back to that, but like I want to be like remembered like that Cam dude, he made that thing, right? Good for him.
Mm-hmm. I feel like famous is such a it is and it isn't a subjective word. I feel like it's a double-edged sword, being famous for whatever reason. And I would probably go with the same thing as you. I want to be famous for helping the world be better or become a better place to like live. Yeah, that's kind of a half-butted answer, but that's probably what I would say.
The next one's kind of garbage.
Do you want to ask the next one, or do you want to?
I say we skip that one. There's
Skip
nothing.
that one?
I've got nothing for that.
Do you want to skip the one after that, or?
Do you have anything good for that?
Not really.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, let's go with the next one.
When did you last sing to yourself?
I
Or to someone else? Both.
think yesterday, I sung "Congratulations" to my girlfriend. Not for any reasons. The Post Malone song.
Oh, I don't.
It was stuck in both of our heads, and we were just like, now they always say congratulations, and we're just singing it for a very extended period of time. So yeah, "Congratulations" by Post Malone.
That's good. I would probably say earlier today. I wasn't really doing. I like to. I recently got new headphones, as you know.
Mm-hmm. The new Apple EarPods.
All right, now everyone knows that I'm an idiot. Thanks, Vegas. But I like to just like whenever like put them in and then no one's around, just like out loud, just like sing, right? Recently, in the last week, Kanye West has released 2 albums. I like them both a lot. Been listening to that quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the person that I didn't necessarily sing to, but wasn't aware of, was home when I was singing because it was so loud, as my mom. This happens a lot. She'll come home and like have to like get my attention and tell me to stop because I get pretty loud, I think. This is like a point of contention in our relationship of mother and son. She does not like it.
I remember the last time I sung to myself was last Thursday or Friday. I was singing "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go." You know that song? I'm not gonna sing it, but it's by Wham.
Yep,
very notorious song from the 80s.
it's a good one. It's a good song.
Okay, next question. This is a long question, so don't die on me. If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you choose? I don't get this question.
So I think what they're asking is, when you hit 30, if you could either maintain your mind or your body for the next 60 years, which one would you pick?
Oh, mind. I feel like that's such
body.
No, think about it. Think about all the completely, perfectly healthy people who develop Alzheimer's or schizophrenia or other degenerative.
Let's work through it together.
Psychological disabilities. Like, would you think about it? You could be like jacked when you're 90, but just have Alzheimer's and not be able to function.
I don't want to be jacked when I'm 90. That's
We're not
Gross.
jacked, but in relatively good shape. Or would
Yeah.
you? Because I feel like if you have a good mindset, if you have a healthy mind, then you can convince yourself of doing physical things.
I think you're right. I was just saying body to be funny, but
Okay.
that's the better answer, I think.
Okay. You want to ask the next question?
Oh my lord. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die?
You want to go first?
I have a pretty good idea that whenever my metabolism, my high acting metabolism dies out, I'm pretty much dead. Because I eat like garbage all the time, like constantly, 24/7, just shoving like not good stuff into my body, right? And then it just like burns right through it all, and you still got skinny Cam, right? Whenever that goes away, I don't know when, hopefully a little bit longer, I'm gone.
I feel like
I thought about that quite a bit, actually.
that's weird thinking about that. Probably
Please don't say something weird.
no. Well, I mean, it's a weird. I mean, I feel like there's no not weird answer. I hope it's nothing brutal. I hope I don't die in a car accident, or
Jeez.
I just hope it's nothing that's gonna inflict a lot of pain while it's happening. I hope it's just a peaceful way that I go out. I know that's what everybody says, but maybe in my sleep or something like that.
If you had to pick between drowning and burned alive,
Drowning,
I like the way you think, sir.
because like you can still see, and like I feel like when you're on fire, you're not really thinking. But if you're drowning, like you can. I feel like I know those are like I think the two most painful ways to die. I'm sure they're much more painful, but they are up there because it takes a while. But if you're drowning, I feel like it.
Oh,
It
no.
seems like it'd be peaceful because
I
you're just
know,
like
yes.
floating. Like you just let it happen.
I feel like there's a certain point where you're fighting. God, this is weird. And then you kind of just like, well, there's nothing I can do anymore. Fire is just like, oh, this is painful.
Yeah.
Someone put me out.
And if you really want to die, if you're drowning and you really want it to make it quicker, just start gulping that water. Some of it will end up in your lungs and it'll make the process go
Jeez.
quicker. By the way,
Don't.
the CV radio is not responsible for any people drowning or catching themselves on fire.
Yeah, don't
Just a disclaimer.
do that.
Okay, next question. We're going to skip that question. Can we skip the next one too? That one's a little...
Yeah.
Skip the next one too. A lot of these are like, ask your partner. Okay. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained one quality or ability, what would it be? I'm just going to throw mine out there. Stop being a lazy sack of poop, probably. If I could fix my procrastination, probably that one. The ability to not procrastinate. That's what I would pick. Quick and simple.
I want to be able to draw.
Draw?
I have like friends who are like just amazing artists, and they just create such beautiful things, and it is annoying to be in the presence of such talent and not be able to do anything. Like I think of what I want to make in my head, and then I draw it, and it just looks like terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a little hiccup right there. I know you guys can't see that, but it scared me for a second. But yeah, draw.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Draw.
that's a good one.
I get like I can work towards it or whatever, but nah, that's not gonna happen. I'll stick to talking.
Mm-hmm. All right, you want to ask the next one? Question 13.
If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? Oh boy.
Man. Just one thing.
I guess so.
I have to think about that one.
I would say I want to know if everything turns out okay. I feel like that's all I want to know. I don't want to know detail. I don't know what happens, things in my personal life. I just want to know if it's okay.
See, I feel like that voice crack. Wow. I feel like with that, it really depends on your mindset. Because you could be in a horrible situation, but still have an optimistic or like not even necessarily optimistic, but you could still be happy with where you are. You could be extremely impoverished, living paycheck to paycheck on food stamps, but still be happy. So I feel like the whole is everything okay. It really depends on how you look at it. Because you could be loaded, have tons of money, but be extremely depressed and not happy with where you are in life.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms mainly of my mindset.
Okay.
What do you got?
No, yeah, that. Oh yeah, right. I didn't answer. What would be my question? Or answer? You know what? I can't. Can I come back to that one? I can't think of a good one.
Yeah, you can come back to that one.
Okay. Is there something that you dreamt of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it?
I would like to be a writer. That's something I'd like to do. I've had an idea running in my brain for like a cool story for like 2 years now, I think. And I think there was a point where I was making some progress in it towards the beginning of the year, and then I got hit with some stuff. So like it kind of stopped, but this is gonna be the summer of me writing, and I'll find time for this too. But
I was gonna say, how come you haven't continued to do it, but you just said you wanted to keep doing it? I would say, I mean, this is one thing that is kind of, long gone that I no longer want to pursue, but competitive gaming is something that I've always had interest in. I mean, now it's kind of, fizzled out. I'm not as interested as I once was, but I feel like at one point in my life, I was very interested in pursuing a competitive gaming career. I'm sure everybody has at some point. But, there are a lot of reasons why I didn't do it. Internet issues is probably, it seems like a very minute issue, but when it comes to that's really the biggest thing,
not enough G Fuel.
Yeah. I would say internet, time, school. Those were the big three ones on why I never pursued kind of that dream of mine.
I get what you're putting down.
All right. You want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
Number 15.
Do you want to do 16? Because I feel like we answered 15.
I'm gonna do 15. I feel like I have another kind of follow up to that one.
Okay. What is the greatest accomplishment in your life, Vegas? Of your life?
I have kind of two, but they both kind of have to do with each other. Graduating high school, I would say. If you went to me when I was a sophomore, I would have never guessed I would end up graduating high school for various reasons. But I feel like getting through that and, accomplishing it was such a monumental moment in my life and was very emotional. And it still hasn't really hit me yet. I still am yet to realize, I was able to accomplish this. And I'd say the second one is just being able to be happy with where I am, because it's been a goal of mine for so many years, is I just want to be, that's always whenever people are like, what's your goal in life? This is exactly what I tell them. To be genuinely happy, content with where I am in life. And I feel like now I can finally say that. I'm just happy and content with where I am. Obviously, I want to continue to, better myself and to make the world a better place, but I would say those are probably my two biggest accomplishments.
Okay.
Cam.
Yep.
What do you value most in a friendship?
I like people that are funny, right? But you can't really value. That's just like a bonus. I think honesty. I want you to be upfront with me. Tell me if you don't think my jokes are funny. I'll work on them. Yeah, just basically honesty. Don't lie to me, please. Okay. Vegas, don't lie to me. Why are you lying to me?
Not lying.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
We're gonna skip down to question. You want to do question 30?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Mine is probably embarrassing.
Mine is pretty embarrassing too, and a little personal, but I'll say it.
Mine is too, but it's a good cry. We'll let you do yours first, but when did you last cry in front of another person or by yourself?
The last time I cried by myself was probably watching a movie. I don't know. I get pretty emotional during films.
What movie was this?
I definitely cried during Infinity War. It gave Creed the other day on TV, and I cried during that movie a lot.
I'm sorry that I'm laughing.
It's okay. It's fine. Like, I just when the Rocky theme kicks in at the end of Creed, God, it gets me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little teary-eyed right now thinking about it, honestly. The last time I cried in front of another person,
I don't know why I'm laughing.
I don't know why I'm laughing either. It was a very serious situation. It was in front of someone who I think at this point in my life I had done a good job of telling myself I would never hurt them, right? You care about a person, right? This is someone you care about, and then you do it. You say, I'm not going to hurt this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I didn't want to do this question, but it's fine. And then it hit me all at once that I realized that this person was standing in front of me. I was like, oh, I've been kind of not a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And I now have to deal with that and think about that. And it hit me all at once. I'm not proud of it, and I did cry.
Okay. Can I ask how recently this was? You don't have to give an exact date, but like, was it like a couple months ago, years?
Just within the month.
Okay. I feel like, so I know exactly when I last cried, but I feel like I don't cry a lot. I did when I was little, but like recently, like even funerals, or I remember it was the first wedding I ever went to. I was like choked up. I was like, I was doing like one of those like hyperventilating. Like I was like, wow, this is like beautiful. Like these two people like committing to a lifetime of awesomeness and marriage, I guess. But the last time I cried, I hope that this person doesn't hear this, but they probably will. Or
my
probably
person's
not.
definitely going to hear this, so.
But I would say about a week ago.
Oh, man.
I was laying down and I was thinking about my girlfriend, and I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but we just had prom, and just seeing her having fun and just enjoying herself, and like we'd been spending a lot of time that week together, and I was kind of just reflecting on it, and I was just like this is awesome. Like I have this awesome person who cares about me, and like I got really overwhelmed and everything hit me. I started crying. Like I'm just like, this is awesome. And she probably won't hear this, but if so, hi Victoria. What's up? I don't think she's gonna listen to this entire hour-long thing.
Why not?
It's an hour. I don't think she'll hear it. But I don't care if she hears it. Well, I mean, obviously I would like for her to hear it, but you know, it's out there if you find this. Alright, would you like to you know what? I feel like we're going to skip the question after that.
I feel like I'm lost. What number?
Question 32.
Oh, okay.
What? I feel like this is going to spark a good conversation. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
I feel like with me,
It could be like something personal or just globally, or it doesn't have to be like just yourself or like the world. It can be anything.
I'm not a big fan of people making jokes about someone over something that they cannot control.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say if someone's like has some sort of disability.
Oh, okay.
I'm not fully comfortable around someone making a joke about that.
So like physical or mental.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
It kind of makes my skin crawl a little bit. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'm not gonna stop you from making the joke. Like, put it out there, see the response, and learn from it. But it's just weird. I think that's weird to me.
See, I feel like if you asked me this question a couple of years ago, I'd be like, no, like you can make fun of like that's what comedy is. It's making light of dark things. But I feel like I've evolved since then, and I used to have like a very dark sense of humor. or not even dark, but I just laugh at whatever I found funny. Now my humor has changed significantly. And I feel like I will agree with you in some sense that I feel like making fun of people, or not people, but like things that are like things that you can't really control about yourself, I guess. But like, I don't know, because of course everybody takes things in differently, and it's really all about who it's targeted towards, whether it's a group of people or a specific person. I feel like with, and I don't even necessarily find these jokes to be funny, but like jokes about the Holocaust or just really, really very tragic events that have happened in human history, whether it's in recent or very long, long ago. I feel like making jokes about stuff like that is important to people because I feel like it allows us to realize, like, hey, like, things aren't so bad. Like, we're still here, we're still alive, and that's all that matters. And I feel like making light of those dark situations can really help to kind of lift morals. And of course, everybody's different with how they deal with stuff like that. So it really depends on the person. But I feel like there is and isn't such thing as something you can't joke about. Because you can't joke about it. Nobody's going to stop you, but you are going to receive a reaction from people, whether that be negative or positive, or, if it's from a majority or a minority of people. Like, you're always going to have people who are going to criticize you for making jokes or really anything at all in life. So,
do you want to do 28 but skip the partner part? I feel like it's a good positive one.
Okay, yeah, let's do 28. The question is formatted tell your partner, but we're just going to say
partner in crime, partner in pod.
Yeah.
Cast.
POP.
Ting.
Or PIP. PIP. Partner in podcast. All right, go ahead. You can ask the question.
Tell your partner what you like about them.
Why? You do not have to say the partner part.
Be honest this time. Saying things that you might not say to someone you've just met.
I like your genuine care and interest in other people. Like, you seem like you're very interested and you're willing to hear from other people. Even if you don't agree with them, like, I feel like you're able to, like, open up and, like, listen to people. And, like, you're open to new ideas and to trying new things, even if necessarily you don't agree with them, but you're willing to give them a chance. And I feel like you're very easy to talk to, and you're always able to kind of make things that might not necessarily be happy or funny. So yeah.
I try. I appreciate that, Vegas.
Of course.
Something that is very genuine that I think you're a fantastic person for, Vegas, and I don't think I'll ever be able to repay you for such things, right? I think you have been there, Vegas, for some very important things in my life. Some very, like, pivotal moments where I needed someone to talk to, and you were there.
Thank you. That meant a lot. I know I'm laughing, but it's not.
I know.
It's not because I find it funny. I just,
like, I felt like I'd feel guilty sometimes for putting all that on you, because it's a lot. Some of the stuff, like, I had to, like, try and talk to you about, but I feel like not only did you listen, you offered advice, you put your situation on it, and I could tell that what I was saying, like, was affecting you. I could tell that, like, you genuinely cared, and that meant something to me. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, next question.
Now.
Let's go to 33. If you're to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone? Why haven't you told them yet? Oh, man. I have two, and they're both the same thing, but different people.
Start telling yours so I can think of mine.
Not telling my dad I love him enough. That sounds very depressing, but probably that, yeah. Because I feel like I love my dad, but, I don't say it every single day, but, like, I hope he knows it, and I feel like, I don't know. And then the second thing is, same thing too, not telling them how much they mean to me, but, I mean, I tell my girlfriend all the time, but, like Like I tell her because I want her to know that. Like I say it all the time, but I don't know if that it's not something I would regret. I feel like I haven't. There's not something I've regretted not telling somebody. Like I feel like I just like I don't feel like there are things that I can think of, at least off the top of my head, where I've been like, I wish I had said that or I wish I had done that, because I feel like it's made me the person who I am today, and I wouldn't want to change anything about it. And plus I'm dead, so I can't undo them. But yeah, that's probably
It's a really good answer, but I feel like I don't have much for this one. Probably the love thing, just like family members, just like hit them like with it one last time before I peace out.
hmm
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't necessarily say like, hey, I'm sorry for doing this or not doing this, but I'd be like, thank you for the time that you've given me. Like, thank you for all the memories and great things that you've
Yeah.
contributed to my life. Like, I'd probably tell my dad that, and then my girlfriend too. It's like, thank you for just impacting my life and being the person you are, because it's molded me to who I am and the legacy that I've left on this planet. Okay, your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to make a final dash to save one item. What would it be and why?
I have a little certificate on my desk that says best tribe host, Cameron Figueredo. And I didn't know, but let's not talk about that. And I feel like I earned that. I feel like I put the blood, sweat, and tears day in, day out on that show. The morning show, The Tribe. Check it out if you haven't heard of it. Make sure to check out episodes from last semester, because that's where I'm in them. I'm pretty proud of that. I feel like that was a pivotal moment in me finding who I was, and who I was the best tribe host. So yeah, it's paper too, so it's probably gonna definitely burn.
Well, let's assume that it's going to be safe. Like, whatever you do decide to grab. See, I feel like it's a good answer. I feel like that's a good question to ask somebody to get to know them, or to, like, figure out, like, who they are. Because if they
What they
pick, like,
value.
if they pick, like, oh, my computer or my phone, it's like, I'm assuming your phone would make it. But, like, if you put, like, a monetary good, like, I mean, even if, I'm kind of looking at this question too much, but, like, most of the stuff that it ends up burning or perishing, you can retrieve from, like, claiming it with insurance. But I would probably pictures, or just writing things that I've written or drawn, stuff like that. Probably pictures and writings, because that's stuff you cannot retrieve. That's stuff that's gone forever.
More of a realistic, Kim is not a self-obsessed person answer. I have a notebook that I've written down in a lot of, like, ideas for, like, stuff I want to write. There's a lot in that book besides just that. They're like, these are things that mean something to me, and I would take that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay, we have 2 more questions left. We're about an hour and 20 minutes in. I feel like things have been going pretty well so far.
This next question.
This one is weird and kind of morbid, but of all the people in your family, whose death would you find most disturbing, and why?
Probably my younger brother, because it's, like, weird that he's the youngest one and is dead.
I was thinking the same exact thing. My younger brother. It just, I feel like when young people die, it's much more somber than somebody, whether it be middle age or elderly or anywhere above the ages of, like, 21. I feel like is not normal, but it's not as weird. Like, when it's a younger person, it's just like all the possible potential that they could have had, and it's no longer there. I feel like with my younger brother, he's, I think, 13 or 14.
Same as mine.
Like, that'd be very strange, because he hasn't gone to high school.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about his personal life, but girlfriend, or getting married, or having kids, or going to college, or starting a career, or buying his first car, he would no longer be able to experience those things. But yeah.
I'm only thinking about that. That's really weird.
Yeah. Here's the last question. I'm gonna preface this in a different way. What is one personal problem you have going on in your life currently, and what do you want to do to try and fix it?
You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Mine isn't too crazy, but I've kind of been getting better with doing it. But I want to learn to not, and it's summer now, high school's over, going into college, freshman year of college, and I feel like for too long I've been lazy. Like, I just don't do things that I have to do. I get lazy, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't have a reason not to do it, which by that logic makes it just me being lazy. Whether it's getting my license or applying to jobs and actively calling to see if they've reviewed my application. But I feel like, most of my days spent in my room in front of my computer, which, yeah, was fun when I was younger. But these past couple of years, it's just been filled with anxiety and just depression of just like I feel like I'm wasting my time just sitting here playing video games. Not like I want to be out there doing stuff, like even stuff like this. Like, I want to be out there being productive and, learning valuable life skills, like how to work with other people, making money, and how to not waste it all on stupid things. Like, I want to develop those skills that I feel like I'm kind of I've fallen behind on. So yeah, I feel like I want to start to be more productive and kind of kick that lazy habit that I've had for so long.
I think you should do that.
Thank you. No, not you think I should. I should do it. And it's not even a matter of like knowing what I should and shouldn't do. It like, I know what to do. It's just actually doing it. Because people tell me like, you need to do it. I'm like, I know, but they're like, what else do you say? Like, when I say that, I'm like, I know. Like, I know. That's all I can say is I know. Like, it's such a, like, anybody can say that, whether they're telling the truth or not. And when I say that I am telling the truth, like, I know it's important, I know it is, but I haven't done it, and I have no valid excuse. And the more I put it off, and the more I continue to tell myself, like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it the next day, just the longer it drags on for. And at this point, I'm getting sick of kind of just being that, and I want to start, being more productive and getting out more and doing more things. So yeah, that's mine.
It's pretty similar to mine. Now, I think I've done a pretty good job in my life up to this point of not really trying to do new things or really figure out like who I was, if that makes sense. Like, trying to like seek out like new experiences, whether I'm comfortable with them or not. It's just like, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of going, now I'll just go downstairs and I'll play Xbox and stuff. Something like that. Or I'll go watch Creed again. Get the tissue box. And I feel like quite recently, it's been brought to my attention, quite literally to my face, told to me that is a problem. That I've yet to figure out who I am, and I gotta stop putting all my stock into like one thing or other, because it's not realistic. It's just not a realistic thing to like only try and find one or two things in your life that make you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you smiling, Vegas?
I'm not smiling.
Okay. So, I feel like that's what I'm doing now, and something that I'm very aware of and would like to work on. Like this podcast. Like, listener, I'm doing this not for you, but for me. I'm doing this so I could do new things and like new experiences.
Yeah, like I'm not hoping to get rich off this. Like, I don't think this is really gonna go anywhere. That's not me being pessimistic, but like, it's just like just something for me to discover more about me and how I interact, and just doing. It's a new thing, and I'm interested to continue doing it. But I think that might be all the questions we have for today. So that was episode 1 of CV Radio. I think it went fairly successfully. And that's just me speaking for myself.
Getting pretty emotional over here, if I'm being honest.
But if you guys enjoyed this episode, you can feel free to email us any questions, feedback, anything whatsoever. And our email is CVradio CVradio.info@gmail.com. Once again, CVradio.info@gmail.com. There'll be a link down in the description down below. You can feel free to follow us on Instagram. The Instagram is CV Radio Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter, which is also the same thing, CV Radio Podcast. There'll be links to both of those down in the description down below. Cam, is there anything else you'd like to say before we end this episode?
I'd like to thank everyone for listening.
Yeah, if you're still listening to this,
Pat yourself on the back for the second time.
Yeah, give yourself another pat on the back. But anyway, wow. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully this will be the start of many episodes. And we will see you next week. Enjoy.